All right. Well, I wanted to review an interesting movie I saw last night that is kind of about a 50% good, 50% terrible. It's a funny movie called A Quiet Place Day One, and it was a pretty thoroughly interesting. This is a movie I'd been interested in for a good amount of time, just because I am an absolute sucker for, aliens destroying humanity and Earth being ruined. It's like, don't ask me why. But I did really, really want to see this because this is, The Quiet Place has like these aliens that are, attracted to sound, so to speak. And, it all started with the John Krasinski movie. That was okay. I liked it. It's, a little bit weak, but it was a movie that existed, and I love John Krasinski. So when I saw that he was making one, which like the initial invasion of one, I had to see it because I love alien, invasion, destruction of humanity type movies. So I went and watched this, A Quiet Place Day One. And let me tell you, like, it is literally 50% good, 50% bad. The scenes of the, alien invasion are spectacular. The idea, the thought of the movie is wondrous. They're just surviving, and there's this kind of a horrifying situation where these aliens just appear out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, New York is turned into this just death zone where people are getting ripped apart left, right, and center. And there's actually a really, really good scene halfway into the movie where there's just a ton of people in the streets, and it just breaks out into chaos where anybody who makes sound is coming at them. But the movie does have its flaws. It certainly has a lot of flaws. Number one, it's just deeply depressing, except especially in the beginning. It centers around this black woman who has cancer and is walking around with her cat, and she's in a home that she hates, and everything is very gloom, very dark and broody. And I thought that once the aliens invaded, it would give her a spark of life that she would be left with. Oh my God, I can't believe something happened to me. I didn't just die in a random home kind of thing. But it wasn't like that. She was still just as moody and depressing as she was after the alien apocalypse. And it's like, yeah, maybe that helped her a little bit because she's so quiet and introverted. But for the most part, it maintains its very somber tune throughout the movie, and yeah, it has connotations of 9/11 too, because if you remember from 9/11 footage, there's that white powder from the buildings all over everyone, and there's many scenes in this movie where everybody's just covered in that. So I don't know if they were getting at a 9/11 angle in this, but it certainly had some destruction part of it. So I mean, it was a movie that was quite good. I think it was worth watch. It's a thorough 5.5, 6 out of 10 movie. It's not the greatest, but it does have some interesting aspects. Now, the creatures themselves are kind of fascinating, and I'll tell you why they're fascinating because of their lackadaisy lore, so to speak. I'm a massive Alien fan. I love finding out about aliens and different adaptations, and these creatures have somewhat of an interesting way about them. They come out of the sky. Who knows why? I don't care enough to look into the lore of it all. But what do they come on? Comets? Do they just fly in? Who knows? And maybe it's ambiguous about that. Never really explains that. They seem like they're pretty primitive creatures. They legitimately are just creatures. so so I mean, yeah, they may be deadly because they're big and run around and things, but I would think that the military could get rid of them pretty quick, considering they're just mindless beasts that just appeared, somewhere. So, maybe there's all over Earth, and it's a, cataclysmic event. How did they not see these things coming? All these questions go in, and it doesn't really have to make sense. It just kind of is. But I do like the fact that, they are quite deadly. They're big, they move quickly, they're kind of freakish, they're attracted to sound, one of the things that humans basically need to make. I mean, if you've been spending around time around a human, they're always making loud sounds and crashing shit into anything. So, I mean, there is that. Yeah, and yeah, there's all kinds of other things that make it quite an interesting type of alien because yeah, there are like a hive mind. How do these things breed? How do they live? How long do they live? They can't swim in this one. Spoiler alert. But yeah, they can't swim. So I mean, like they, it's gonna make it kind of easy for humans just to kind of like build a base in the water, and then when you're in the water, you're safe, and like like yeah. So I would rate these pretty low on the danger to the world scale, but I mean the sheer way that they just all kind of just appeared in New York City and took humans by guard and are super fast and the kind of horde-like creatures really brings it down to that kind of a level. So yeah, a random woman with cancer running through New York City doesn't stand much of a chance. But at the same time, you get military and troops involved here, and these things are like literally wild animals you could just blast away. So I don't know how sustained the invasion would be. It certainly paints itself with the other films. I'm not going to bother watching the second Quiet Place, but the first one it paints itself as kind of a post-apocalyptic. I don't think that these things could conquer Earth in that sense. They're just animals. They're just monsters. So how do they organize? How do they reproduce? These are all important questions, but it seems like they've already at the most 100%. Most of the Earth is covered in water, and these things stay away from water. So, I mean, you've isolated like them to like what North America or whatever. Maybe they're all around the world. Who knows? But yeah, that's my thought. Outside of the alien invasion itself, the people pretty remarkable good acting. I mean, you've got actors in this movie that are, pretty decent. They're portraying this level of they're betraying this level of frightening. Uh, Digimon Huisen, a familiar face that Hoisu uh, he's a well-known actor. You see him in all kinds of movies, and he's in this one too. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna start kicking ass. This guy's gonna get a shotgun or a pickaxe, and he's gonna start fucking killing these things. But they never do. I think that the general gist of it with these creatures is that you just can't kill them because they're too quick and they're too big. But I was a major let down that didn't see Jimon Gaston Hunsu or whatever his name is, a very familiar badass face from acting. He didn't go around just wrecking these fucking things. So I was kind of hoping for that, but you didn't get into that. So yeah, these things they are kind of a little bit deadly. So you're not able to actually take them on. So most of the movie is them just trying to navigate away from these things, and it tries to be really artsy fartsy at points of time. With the cat. I always love cats. Seeing a cat in a movie was freaking awesome. But it's just a movie. Like I said, it's 50% good. It's 50% bad. It's a dark, brooding, depressive. Wah. I'm a cancer survivor woman. I'm trying to survive in the alien apocalypse, and nothing makes me happy. And I meet a random British guy who tries to make me happy, but fails miserably along the way a million times. And then it's got the cool parts, which is like alien invasion, people getting ripped apart, like there's massive, war going on between aliens and humans and these strange creatures and what's their adaptations. So this is an example of a movie that has elements that are good, but also has elements that I just hated. It's like that's the gist of A Quiet Place Day One. Is it's about equal parts good as it is equal parts bad. If you can stomach the depressing nature of the characters and humanity, you can get through it. But it is kind of fascinating to see these creatures. I mean, what are they called? They're called what are the aliens from A Quiet Place called? They're like I don't know. They almost like miniature versions of the Cloverfield monster. They are very very strange creatures, um, and yeah, they're very interesting things. they're blind, they're alien predators, hypersensitive. Of course, the hearing is a big part of them. The armor is covered, the armor shell, um, their appearance, their eyeless, run on all forms, their weakness, high frequency noise. I mean, there you go. I remember in the first Quiet Place, there was even a scene there where they had that, and it's like, yeah, if we can just create like a high frequency thing, go around the earth going, bzzz, they're all gonna fucking die. So they're not the most death angels, they're called. Um, but they are not the most threatening creatures. They're not like they're gonna destroy the Earth is over. They have so many vulnerabilities. Um, yeah, Quiet Place, interesting creatures. John Krasinski coming out with such a thing is quite interesting, actually. The guy definitely, Jim from The Office definitely has some interesting ideas about movie making, and I'm happy that he did make such a thing. So yeah, Quiet Place 2. On the critic reviews, it's got like 4.2. I would say it's closer to a 5 movie. Like I said, 50% of it's good, 50% of it's bad. It's interesting enough, I guess. And yeah, that's The Quiet Place 2.